Hey guys, so I want to talk you through just some review over adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing fractions and decimals. None of this should be new. So super fast, adding and subtracting fractions. You need to make sure that you have common denominators. So if I have 5 6 minus 1/4, my common denominator for this is, I list out my multiples here, so 6, 12, 18, and then I can list them out for 4, so 4, 8, 12. So the first one that's the same as 12, so that's going to be my common denominator. So in order to get that common denominator, this side multiplies by 3. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. Same thing over here, times 2 gives me 12. So this side then turns into 10 twelfths minus 3 twelfths. So then I just subtract. If I have 10 of something minus 3 of something, I end up with 7 of that somethings. So 7 twelfths. It's already simplified, so I don't have to do anything else with it. So addition works pretty much the same. This time I'm going to do one that is a mixed number, so I have to deal with whole numbers on this one. So 4 1/3 plus 1 2/5. So again, I have to have common denominators on this one. If I list them out, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 5, 10, 15. So the first number that's the same on both of those is 15. So I'm going to do this side times 5. This side times 3, that's going to give me 4 5/15 plus 1 6/15. So when we have whole numbers, all we have to do is add them. I have 4 whole numbers and 1 whole number, so together I now have 5 whole numbers. And then I add my fractions. If I have 5/15 and 6/15, together I have 11/15. So 11/15. It's already simplified, so I don't have to do anything else. 5 11/15 is my answer. With decimals, we just have to line up the decimals to add and subtract. So if I have 21 35 hundredths plus 2.379. To add those, all I have to do is put them over each other, lining up the decimals. So 21 35 hundredths, and then the other number goes underneath, lining up the decimals. I'm going to put the 0 in the placeholder, and then I add them just like I would. Carry the 1, 7, 3, and 2, and then your decimal point comes straight down, so my answer is 23 729 thousandths. Alright, so here we go with some multiplying and dividing. So we're going to do 2 1/8 times 1 4/5. So when we're multiplying, we do have to turn these into an improper fraction. So 8 times 2 is 16, plus 1 gives us 17. And then your denominator stays the same. So over here, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9, so that is 9/5. We do not need common denominators when we multiply. So I'm going to multiply straight across. So 17 times 9. So that gives me 153. So 153 on top, and then 8 times 5 gives me 40 on the bottom. So then, since this is an improper fraction, I need to change it. I know that 40 goes into 153 3 times. So 40 times 3 is 120. 40 into 153. 40 goes in here 3 times. and then I subtract, and I get 33. So I know that my whole number is 3. My leftovers is 33 out of 40. So my answer is 3 3/33. Okay, so let's do a division problem. We'll do 1 3/4 divided by 2 1/3. So same thing, since we are dividing, we need to change these into improper fractions. So 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7, 7/4. Divided by 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, 7/3. So then to divide fractions, we multiply by the reciprocal. So the first stays the same, then we change to multiply the reciprocal. Reciprocal is just when you flip the fraction over. So now my problem is 7/4 times 3/7, and I'm going to multiply straight across. 3 times 7 is 21, 4 times 7 is 28. And then this fraction I need to simplify. So 21 and 28, the number 7 goes into both of those. So I'm going to divide by 7, and that gives me 3/4, which is in simplest form. So my answer is 3/4. All right, let's do a decimal. So when we multiply decimals, for example, if I have 1.25 times 3.7, okay, you do not have to line up decimals when you multiply. So 1.25 over 3.7, I just line them up like I would if they didn't have decimals. And then I just multiply through. So 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3 is 17, 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8, and then I'm going to do 3 times 5, which gives me 15, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and 3 times 1 is 3. Then I add them up, 5, 12, 16 and 4, and then we count decimal places. So up here I have 1, 2, 3 numbers behind the decimal. So in my answer I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 numbers behind the decimal. So my answer is 4 625 thousandths. And then finally we have dividing. Dividing decimals is similar to regular division. The only thing is before we divide, we have to get rid of the decimal on the outside. So let's see if I can make up an easy one. So 1.25 divided by 2.5. So 1.25 goes on the inside, divided by 2.5. So I don't want decimals on the outside, so I need to get rid of that. I'm going to move it once to the inside, and when I do that, I'm really just multiplying by 10. So 2.5 times 10 gives me 25. And then if I move it on the outside, I got to move it on the inside. So move it over once. So my new problem is really 25 and 12.5. So then I just see how many times does 25 go into 1? It doesn't. How many times does 25 go into 12? It doesn't. How many times does 25 go into 125? It goes in 5 times with no leftovers. And then your decimal point goes straight up. So my answer is 0.5. Like I said, this should all be review. If you have any questions, feel free to email or save them for class tomorrow.